Welcome, everyone, to the Utah PTA Pulse podcast. Boom, 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 boom. Actually, if you've heard the newer ones, there's a heartbeat in it that I put. It's really cool. So anyway, I'm Mike Williams, Director of Communications here at the Utah PTA. To my right, your left is...
I'm Angeli Ado, the Family Life Commissioner.
And I'm Cami Whitchurch, Community Engagement Commissioner.
And we're here to talk to you about... Oh, wait. Does Angeli have something for us?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, the question for today is, what's the worst date you've been on?
Okay. I don't know if it's the worst date. But I remember I took this girl out and we went to a movie or dinner or whatever. And so when we went to dinner, we ordered, they bring the check, and I'm like, I didn't bring my credit card. It was so embarrassing. So this poor girl had to pay for dinner because I didn't bring my money.
At least you had money.
Yeah.
I know, for real.
So
You had to call
embarrassing.
someone's parents.
Oh. No, and this was when I was 23 years old, so it wasn't like I'm...
Was there a second date? I'm guessing no.
No second date with her. Nope. So I don't know if it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, that would be super embarrassing. For sure.
Yep. So there you go.
For sure. I mean, one that comes to mind, and it's not even really anything like off the wall. It was just the whole night he kept asking me questions like, what's your favorite color?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He
yeah.
didn't know what else to talk about, so he just kept asking these really random questions, and I was like, okay.
You know, those
But
questions...
then when like you would talk to him, it would be like one word answers too. So like, oh, this is gonna be a rough night.
That's so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like those questions are always on, like, you know, questionnaires. But I'm like, when you read that, it's like in one ear, out the other.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or when they're introducing people and they're like, this person's favorite color is red. And I'm like, what's their favorite color?
Yep. Yeah.
So I was thinking about a date that I went on when I was at BYU. I had just had knee surgery, and so I had just weaned myself off my crutches, but I still couldn't walk very far. And so this guy from one of my classes, he was like, don't worry, I'll pick you up and I'll like drive you around, and then I'll drive you home from our date. And I was like, okay, great. And I lived kind of far from campus, and so he was like, I'm gonna pick you up. So he comes to my door and he's like, oh, sorry, the car didn't work out. And I was like, okay. He's like, but I think they can pick us up, like, from the restaurant. So if we can just walk to the restaurant, then they'll bring us home. And I was
Like, how far away is said restaurant?
I mean, I don't know if you know Provo, but, like, I lived in Raintree Apartments. So that's, like almost as far off campus as you can be, pretty much. And the restaurant was, like, on the southeast side of campus. So it was pretty far. So we walk all down Center Street or University Avenue, and then go on Center Street and walk really far. And we go to dinner. It's like the most awkward dinner ever. Like, just awkward dinner. And then he's like, oh, like, my friend texted me and he's like, he can't pick us up, so we're just gonna have to walk home. And I just was like fuming mad the whole time. And my knee hurt so bad. And I was like, that's it.
Don't call me.
I'm like, no. Mm-mm. No.
Yeah, that would be frustrating.
Yeah.
Before the days of Uber.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There was also like a bus stop in front of my house, in front of my apartment complex, that I didn't know about the whole year until I had knee surgery. And I was like, why didn't I ride the bus this whole year? Like,
Yeah.
this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, because that was like when bus passes, they were like $25 or something. Like, they were so cheap. And I was like, well, what the heck? It's right here.
Darn.
Yep. Yeah.
Good times.
Share with us your date, worst date stories.
Disasters.
Date disasters.
I know, I'm trying to think if I ever had like something that just like the whole night went wrong.
Well, my husband thinks that we had went up to Salt Lake to watch one of the movies at the Joseph Smith building, and we came home, and my roommates and I, we were like, let's go to Taco Bell. Like, that was just like a thing we did, and we didn't want to like lose our parking spot. So he was like, oh, I'll take you guys. So we drive over to Taco Bell, and my roommates are in front of me, and they were paying for their food, and he said, while he was in line, he's like, I should pay for her. I should pay for her. I should pay for her. Like, I'm the guy. I should pay for her. And he didn't pay for me. And then he, like, feels bad that he didn't pay for me. And he's like, I should have paid for everybody. Like, it was only 2 other girls. Like... But he still thinks about that. So it's, like, ingrained in his brain.
Oh, man.
So pay for your friend when you go to Taco Bell, okay?
$20.
I know.
Probably pretty cheap, right?
I'm like, they just sent me an email today. There's 10 new items for $3 or less.
Nice.
All right. Let's go.
We do not sponsor.
I know.
Or they're not sponsoring us.
That's not sponsored. Okay.
New sponsor for Utah PTA.
If we could get them, sure. That'd be
Right?
great. Yeah, we'll work on that.
We have McDonald's. It's awesome. Okay.
Cool.
Today we're talking about nominating committees,
Nominating committees.
which I feel like is quite fitting because it's that season.
Yep.
Well, and hopefully you watched, but there was a Practical PTA October 28th.
Yeah, I think
Was it
so.
the 28th?
Yeah.
24th.
24th. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
that
it was the
day.
24th. Whatever the Thursday before
Halloween.
Halloween.
Yes, it
Thursday,
was that
yeah,
day.
the Thursday before Halloween. And you can go back and catch that at the PTA University, I believe, or through the Utah PTA University.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch it again. Maurice's amazing. She is such a wealth of knowledge. Like, working with her, yeah, she's amazing.
And there were some great questions posed by some people, and I was trying to do the chat and trying to answer questions, and then I was like, Marisa, the question is blah blah blah, and I found it. It's in Article 5, C3, and she's like, correction, Mike, it's not there. I'm like, oh boy. Oh, I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah,
I'm trying to help, but she knew way
She's
more than I
awesome.
knew.
Yeah, she really
She's
does
awesome.
know. Yep. And just knowing the value of your bylaws. Like, read your bylaws. Like, you should be familiar with your bylaws. You should read them through regularly. Before you do your nominating committee, I encourage you to get out your bylaws. And if you don't know where those bylaws are, go online to utahpta.org.
.org.
/bylaws, probably.
Is it /bylaws?
I have no
I think
idea.
it is. I
But you
think
can
it
look
is
it up in the
/bylaws.
search bar. Bylaws,
Or it's
boom.
in tools. If you just click on the tools tab and
Yep.
it drops down and there's bylaws right there. But read over it with your read over it with your membership, with your board. Read over it so everyone's clear, because those are your governing documents. Like, they are what not runs your PTA, but like the guidelines for your PTA.
Yeah.
And they're great. Like, for example, I know this is not about nominating committees, but bylaws are so awesome and important. There are minimum requirements for positions or whatever, or a quorum. I just want to point out the quorum for our bylaws was like 18 people, and we're like, we can barely get 12 people to this thing. So I was like, there's a minimum of 10. We're changing our bylaws.
Yes.
So if you're like, man, we sure struggle trying to get our 25 people here, well, change your bylaws.
Exactly.
Lower it a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Make sure you look at that and do know what your quorum is. And that's also in your bylaws as well. So
And I think, so to go with nominating committee, in the bylaws, it tells you who needs to be nominated, what positions, because that was some of the questions, like, oh, do I need to have a nominating committee for board specialist over book fair? No, you don't. Those
can be appointed.
Those can be
Yeah.
appointed.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and I will tell an example. So I had a friend, and this is another reason why PTA is wonderful. A little plug for PTA. And we were talking about nominating committees, and she had changed schools with her kids, and so she was at a school that did not have a PTA, and they were in the process of electing their PTO president. And because they didn't have bylaws that governed how they were to select their president, it got really, really ugly. and these two women were like fighting over this president's position. Whereas if you have the bylaws right in front of you and you can say, this is how we're doing it. We're creating a nominating committee. They're going to take, what's the word?
Recommendations.
Yeah, recommendations. They're going to pick the nominees, and then we're going to vote on them if you want to run from the floor. Like, they had none of that. And so these two ladies, and she said it was really hard because she was right in the middle of it because they were texting and fighting each other through this text thread that she was in, and just because there was no outline for how this was to be done. And she said, it was the first time that she realized she really, really wished that they were a PTA. So these are good, and they help protect you, and they help, when someone comes in question. If you follow your bylaws, people can't question your nomination. They can come and they can run against them and run from the floor, but they can't invalidate them, I guess. If you're following your bylaws, then your nominations and your whole process is validated and you're good to go. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I just did like Google search of nominating committees because I feel like sometimes when we get into PTA, we're like, why do we do this? What is a nominating committee? But it's actually like really common to have in other businesses, if they have a board. So it says the term nomination committee refers to a committee that acts as part of an organization's corporate governance. A nomination committee evaluates a firm's board of directors and examines the skills and characteristics required of board candidates. And it says that lots of businesses use nominating committees. And I love that. Like, these successful businesses are using nominating committees to find the right people that have the right skill sets, the right time to use, all the things. And it's kind of nice that there's multiple eyes looking. Like sometimes we feel a little stressed and we're like, I need a secretary, a treasurer, and this, and this, and this, and this, and who am I going to pick, So the nominating committee really helps.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever served on nominating committees?
Yep.
Yep.
Lots or just like a few times?
Actually, quite a few, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've only done like 3.
Was it stressful or was it fine?
It was wonderfully easy.
Yeah.
I think it's great because you get together and you talk about and you receive people are like, oh, I want to do this or I want to do this, and you don't run into it too often. I mean, you probably do, but you don't run into too many people vying for one position. So it's kind of simple, I guess. One of them, we did have 2 people going for one position, but it was great because we got to talk about it and we found out talking to them that they would like to do it, but at that time in their life they could do it if they really needed to, but then the other person's like could do it and they were fine, and so we're like, it makes sense for this person to do it.
Yeah.
So the nominating committee takes all the stress out of trying to find and choose if you're on the board and executive committee going, oh, who's going to be? Let the nominating committee take care of it. And it's great. They can send out emails to everyone and say, hey, it's open for nominees. And if you want, there's instructions. I probably talked about this already, but my first time on a nominating committee, I thought I could just throw people under the bus. So I was just like throwing people's names in there. I'm like, yeah, let's make them do it. And I'd call them up. I'm like, hey, I nominated you for this. Do you want to serve? And they're like, you have to get permission. What? So I learned that hard way. But
Well, we all have to learn.
Yep, and that was me learning. I was just it was so funny. Who should serve in these positions? I was just listing people. I'm like, I know this person and this person.
Would be awesome.
But at the same time, things like that, sometimes getting that phone call and having someone say, hey, I think you do a really good job in this position, makes them kind of think about, oh, maybe I could do this position. Or I had thought about this position, but I didn't think I was qualified.
Yep.
So I think those phone calls and those interactions with people and inviting them to apply or saying, I'd like to nominate you. Is that okay? I think that's really valuable, and I think that helps us build our PTAs as people realize, oh, well, maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my term for council president is up. And so I'm already like talking to PTA presidents. Hey, we're gonna have a nominating committee soon, and I'm gonna be terminating soon. I mean, somebody might nominate me, or I might nominate myself to do it again because I love it. But it would be nice to, But you just asked people. It was great because I talked to somebody. I said, hey, I think you do an awesome job if you took over my position. And, talking to them, and they declined, but they would have been good. But that's it. You that's what the nominating committee is great. You get them going, and that's what they do is go talk to people.
Mm-hmm. When I was just thinking about, I've had PTAs come back to me and say, we sent out an email and we've tried to get people and we can't get anyone. And I think, okay, but you've got to do more than an email. Because how many times do you read an email that's like, oh, they need a PTA president? Okay.
Yes, that's me. I mean, we were just talking a few minutes ago about how we never check one of our emails. So,
So it is important. And, having someone come to you one-on-one. I know I've told you guys this before. The whole reason that I ran for school board is because I got approached by 4 people beforehand that told me that I should do it. And I would have never just run out of, I would have been like, oh, that position's open, let's go for it.
Yeah.
It's just that's not always how it works. And I mean, even when I was president first in a local PTA, it was because someone came and talked to me and they said, you would be a really good president. So I think those one-on-one interactions and invitations and letting them know their strengths and the leadership skills that they have are really valuable.
And you're right. You just got to talk to people. I think that's what it comes down to is actual conversation with someone. I serve on another committee, and we talked to several people, and they were just like, oh, I didn't know that committee existed. Oh, I'd love to join that. Oh, I didn't know, oh, of course I want to do that. Is this how it's going to help the community? You just talk to people, get to know.
And be honest about what the position entails.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Don't say it's 1 hour of work when it's really 25 or whatever.
You're not doing anyone favors by being like, it's so simple. You just delegate.
Treasure's nothing, man. She don't do anything. Oh, man.
Don't do them that disservice.
And I mean, I guess plug for procedure books right here. It's really nice if the nominating committee can see those procedure books and be like, okay, the secretary actually is doing X, Y, and Z, so that they kind of have that accurate picture of what's happening in those positions.
That's a huge must. If you can do a procedure book, we didn't have one in our elementary, and I was like, what does this position do? And I'm trying to tell people, hey, we need the secretary. What do they do? Go to meetings and take notes? I bet there's more, but
I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, and going into that position, it'd be so much nicer going in and going, I have this whole procedure book that walks me through what I need to do, as opposed to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's convention in May.
Yeah, that's right.
Even if it's just simple, especially if you've never done one before, if you're the Red Ribbon Week person, if you just go write down about the week and kind of like a journal, how'd the week go? What did we spend our money on? What was great? What wasn't great? What did you need more help with, or whatever? Just put some of those specifics in, and then as the years go, you can kind of fine-tune it and tailor it.
And don't always rely on, oh, you know what, we always have a person for this position. So our book fair. Oh, I've been doing it for 5 years, and now I have somebody, she's helping me do it, and now she'll know. And well, what if she moves? And now nobody knows how to do book fair and all the cool contacts they have. So procedure book is super awesome.
So great. And it really does help the nominating committee. And one thing I love that nominees can also do is they can help find people for your chair positions. The person you're on the phone with might not want to be the president-elect, but they would love to help with the take-home reading library.
Yep.
And so they can kind of fill some other spots that
for sure.
need filled on your general board also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we tried to convince this lady to be on the executive board, and we do this and this and this. She's like, no, I just don't want to do it. Well, what interests you? I would love to be over membership. You would love to be over membership? You got it.
Yeah.
We will appoint you to be a membership, whatever. Let's do that. Let's get this done. So, just talking to people. Most people want to do something.
Yeah.
They just may not want to be president or
Yeah.
or one of those. So
Yeah.
hopefully you can find a president. I think if you ask and you really let people I mean, you're looking for people with those leadership skills. Hopefully you can find someone.
Yeah. If you just send out an email and think that your next president's gonna write back, they're not. So you gotta do a little
They're gonna need a bit of encouragement.
A little bit more.
We all need a little encouragement in life to do the hard things.
So your bylaws say that you have to have a nominating committee. That's part of having a PTA in good standing. And you form that at a general membership meeting. And usually, this is also in your bylaws, it says how many people you need to have on your nominating committee. It's usually 3 with 2 alternates, but some do 5. It needs to be an odd number. And if you want to be on the executive committee or any position that's elected, you cannot serve on the nominating committee. So if you're like, I really want to be the secretary, don't sign up for the nominating committee.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are on the nominating committee and you guys are having discussions and then you kind of feel like you want to be the secretary, you can recuse yourself and an alternate will come and take your place, and then you could say, I want to be the secretary. And that happens.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that happened to me. I was on the nominating committee, and we met, and they were like, "Well, we don't have anyone, and who can you think of?" And we were like, "Well, maybe this person, that person." I was like, well, I guess I could do it. And they're like, "All right, you're off," and then I signed up.
Like, see you later.
I'm out. This conversation is
Yep.
over. Yep. When you don't, another thing that I hope people realize is, like, the nice thing about nominating committee is you don't take minutes. Like, there are no minutes taken at that meeting.
It's all like confidential.
Super confidential.
You're talking about some very sensitive information sometimes. So you don't have to get a secretary for that meeting. You can just talk freely. Hopefully the people on your committee, you have a relationship such that you can have those kinds of conversations, because sometimes there are hard things that have to be brought up there. Hopefully not too often, but I know I've sat on nominating committees where some sensitive things did come up and they were important to talk about.
Yeah.
And I was grateful to know, and hopefully if you were ever on a nominating committee, it is really important to honor that not secrecy, but honor that
trust.
Yeah, that trust that nothing that is said in that room goes beyond that room. Because there are, you're talking about personal things sometimes, and it's important to know that, things that are spoken about people aren't taken out of the room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And two, when you're discussing things about people, that none of it's meant to be malicious or anything. It's just, this is what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like matter of fact, or like, Miss Susie, well, she just took this new full-time job, so maybe this big position isn't the best thing for her right now, or whatever the situation might be.
Yep. So I think that's important when you do take that position on, to be willing to realize the importance of being trustworthy and not taking anything beyond the room.
I think it's also good when you're forming your nominating committee to make sure you have different representation. So if you have several like neighborhoods in your area or school, to have those different neighborhoods and cultures represented. And like if you're all living like 2 blocks away from the school, you might not reach all the people that you could potentially reach, because we don't know everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to think I knew everybody in my school, but now we have like 900 kids. I'm like, I do not know everybody anymore. Like.
Well, and sometimes they might know of someone or know something that,
Yes,
if you just stick
definitely.
to your one little circle, you're really limiting who you can get. So, yeah. And talking to teachers and secretaries, I think at our elementary school, I think we always had a teacher or a staff member on our nominating committee, because they kind of knew the parents that were coming in and volunteering in the classroom, and they could kind of bring that aspect to the nominating committee, which was kind of nice to have. Oh, well, so-and-so's grandma comes in and reads with the kids every Monday. Maybe we could ask her, for maybe she wants to do something, or she could recommend someone. So.
And in your bylaws, it does state that you don't want your principal or your superintendent to be on your nominating committee, but they can definitely be someone that you have a conversation with. you obviously wouldn't invite them to your whole entire meeting, but you could have them come and give some feedback or ask questions, and I think that's a good resource, but
Yeah, you don't want them on.
they're not supposed to be on it.
It doesn't say that they can't.
Nope, it just says it's recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the positions?
Yeah.
I just know that when I was first a PTA president, I was like, wait, who do we need to vote, elect, nominate? What's going on? I'm like, to me, I was all brand new. I was like, so do we need to elect the person over book fair? I mean, that's like, do we need to do somebody family life? Do we need to have a nominating committee for family life or education, health and safety? No, you don't, by the way. But I had no idea. I didn't know what that meant. So president, right? Mm-hmm. President-elect, treasurer, secretary, admin VP, who is principal.
Usually. It could be a VP.
It could be a vice principal. If anyone's in Region 17 Canyons, VP, they're working on every elementary having a vice principal, which we very nice.
Nice.
And I've actually talked to our principal. I said, you don't have to be on the PTA. You can assign that to your vice principal, so you're not taking up more time than necessary. So I mean, if you do have a vice principal, use them so that gives your principal, oh sweet, I don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then there's VPs, right?
Well, and you also have your teacher VP.
Oh, teacher VP, thank you.
Uh-huh. Although I know a lot of PTAs, because especially when you in January, February, March, when you're trying to put these boards together, a lot of times those teachers don't know what they're going to be doing the next year.
Yep.
And so that's often one that gets bumped into the fall.
Yeah, and they also, like, most teachers have a lot of, like, assignments. They, like, one year they're the team lead, and one year they're the head of the Sunshine Committee, or whatever. So it's hard to know when kind of, like, those assignments aren't made either. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be like, oh, well, now you have to come to, like, 1,000 other meetings. Sorry.
Yep. Well, and I think it's important, and I'm really grateful for Corey Fairholm for really driving this, like, I just remember her saying this in so many meetings, because a lot of people refer to it as the executive board, but it's the executive committee.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So executive committee is elected by nominating committee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But your board goes beyond that. That's, where your, like, reflections chair and... Sorry, I can't.
It's like where your book fair chair is, and
that's where all your
Red
other
Ribbon Week, and
where all your chairs sit. So that's the board, but the committee itself is what the nominating committee elects. So she was really good about, like, driving that home for everyone. Like, this is your executive committee, not your board.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, and that helps too when you're going, well, wait, do we need to nominate a reflections person?
Right.
And a da-da-da-da-da?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the last one is the vice presidents. And in your bylaws, it states how many you need. Mm-hmm. I think the minimum is 2, but apparently it's 0.
Apparently it's 0. We just learned that today.
You just discovered you can put 0. I don't know if that's...
And reading in here, it says, so each PTA can determine the needs and then decide what VP positions are needed. Vice president examples can include communications, public relations, leadership, membership, fundraising, legislative/advocacy, etc. I don't know if anybody's looked into it. I was like, what's leadership VP? So I was like, so I looked into it and I loved it. And it was perfect for this person that leadership VP is someone who teaches leadership skills or leadership PTA stuff to incoming executive committee or board members. And I wanted one on just the elementary level. And so the lady I was talking to, I was like, you would be perfect for it, because she knew PTA up and down, in and out. And I was like, all I want you to do is be this, and your sole purpose is to talk to people about PTA and train them and get them excited about it. She didn't do it, but I mean, once again, you try.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Yes.
would be an awesome position. I'm like, leadership, that's great. Just having somebody who's dedicated to teaching PTA and getting people excited and learning their positions. On my council level last year, I wanted an advocacy VP, and we got one, and it was great because I put it out there. I put it in the email that we sent it to every school, and people. One lady was like, "That is perfect. That is what I want to do. I want to be advocacy VP," and so she was the only person that got nominated, which was great. I was fine with that, but she's joined our team, and it's so nice to have her because she's just like, oh, this is what the state is doing, and this is what we want, and she's telling all the PTAs. Oh, thank you.
That's so great.
It's so great.
Well, and not having to know, because the president, it isn't their job to know everything. It's to know someone who knows everything.
Yes.
I mean, you would hope as a president you know kind of everything, but you can't be everywhere at once. You can't know everything. And so to have those helpers, because advocacy is such a huge part of PTA. And so to have someone who can kind of be watching that, scope in that area and just reporting back is huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that. I was talking to my superintendent, and he said something like, someone had asked him a question, like a very specific question. I think it was about like dual immersion or something. And he was like, I don't know all the specifics, but I can find out from my team members. Like, I know about the programs, and I know like kind of what's going on about all the things, but like I trust my team members to know like all the specifics, and when I need to know the specifics, they're communicated to me. And I love that. Like, I love that he's in all the things, but he doesn't have to know all the things, but he's also trusting that his team members are going to know the things and do the things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I love
awesome.
it.
Yeah.
He delivered it so much better than I did, but
No, I love that. I love sharing that workload because I think, that workload can get really big, and to have someone kind of take on that portion of it so that you can, focus in other areas is really helpful.
yeah.
So.
Tangent. That's why.
Love it.
No, that is why I love taking a leadership position, learning and going, well, leadership is hard. I want to be a little person again. Let me just focus on one little thing and help that person, and so that they can do their position better. So one day I'll do that.
Don't get too far up the chain too fast.
Yes, that's right.
I'm going back down.
Yes,
Send
go
me
back down.
Although, I look at, I don't know if she's really gone back down because now she's at national, but I was just thinking of Stacy Molinet because, now she is a council president, but she's also serving on like national committees and stuff too, so never mind.
Yeah. Just ever upward.
Ever.
Although I think we do have some other past presidents that might be council presidents and things too, so who knows?
Just put me as secretary at an elementary. That's
No.
the best. You don't like secretary?
I don't know.
No, I'm like horrible at taking notes.
I am just this type master. I'm loving it. I'm like, that was great.
I'm the secretary of our resolutions committee, and I'm either like taking notes or like trying to think about what the notes need to say. And then I can't follow the conversation.
Yep.
I'm like, hold on, stop, let me write that down.
Wait, what did you say?
I know,
Yeah,
like
I don't
all
like
constantly, I'm like, can you write that in the chat, please? So I can put it in the minutes.
It's true. I think, for me, I think that secretary position is a valuable position that I do not excel at.
Yeah, same.
I've done it before, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah.
It depends on the meeting, too. Some
Yeah.
meetings I think are easier to be a secretary for. Others, there's so much information. Like I look at some of the meetings I've been doing with transition team, and there's just a lot of information. So kudos to you, Carol, for
Yeah,
amazing.
no kidding.
Well, and I struggle with like, because they say when you look at the minutes that it would give someone a sense of like what happened in the meeting, but I'm like, but how detailed do you make it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, so we were having a conversation about our resolutions specialist in our resolutions meeting, and I'm like, what do I write about this conversation? Like, like, I really didn't know, so I kind of just wrote, like, we had a conversation and this was the outcome, because,
There you go.
like,
do you need all of the
yeah, I was like, do we
things
need
that were
all the
brought in?
details? Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I probably didn't put in enough details, but
Jane stated this.
yeah.
John stated this. Oh, boy.
Because I was like, if you read these minutes, you won't know what the conversation was about, just that we had a conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
You do your best.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, man. Well, this year, so last year I served on a nominating committee, and this year it has actually been really fun to, like, be on the other side of it and watching them serve. And I'm like, guys, like, I tell my other friends on the nominating committee, I'm like, we did so good. Like, I feel like if you, like, do the process, like, you can, like, see it working. It's, like, so magical, you know? I'm like, if you care about it, you do it right. I'm like, look, they're doing so good. Like...
Would you say it takes a lot of time to be on the nominating committee? Does it, like, take forever?
It depends on what you're... At a local level, probably not.
No. I don't
Okay,
think
yeah.
so.
What about a council level?
Even that just depends on if
It's
if
not, like,
everyone in the
super hard,
committee
is it?
Kind of trying to look for someone. I think it kind of depends on how much work the committee
Yeah,
is doing.
I feel like last year for my council nominating committee, the nominating chair, she was, like, stressed, and I felt like she was doing a lot of work.
Interesting. Well, how many positions are you looking for at that? And how many people are applying for it or self-nominating or being nominated?
Well, that's like no one self-nominated themselves, so
So she's struggling trying to find people? And
yeah,
that's what
and
makes it hard?
I feel like they had a really good system, but it just was hard. Like they struggled, and I was like, don't feel anything until you feel the president-elect.
Okay, so here's a question for you. And I mean, I have my opinions on some answers, but is it better to leave a position open or to fill it with someone who you don't feel can fill the position or can do the job?
Oh, that's tricky.
Dude, that is tough. Well,
They can't do the job because they're, like, bad at it, or, like,
they're the only ones.
they're the only one that says they want to do it.
Maybe, I mean, I've experienced this, like, with president. We had someone who wanted to be president, like, the desire was there, but the concern about, you know, they were ones that would come late to the meetings.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like,
Okay.
their track record
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
made it so that it was
Okay.
hard to be, you know, and they would miss assignments that they were given. They wouldn't, you know, complete them, and they weren't reliable, but they wanted to be the PTA president, and nobody else wants it.
That is so tricky because you want people to grow and learn,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time,
I know.
they're signing, like, legal documents for their PTA. Like,
I think it is hard. I have found usually when we put someone in a position just so we have a warm body there, it doesn't go well.
yeah.
Is kind of what we found. It's just hard when they have, like, that desire and they want to do it, and you just hope that maybe they'll rise to the occasion. I don't know. I think that's a tricky one, but
It's hard.
and I think that's another reason why, you know, maybe nominating committees need to go, yeah, we have this nominee, but this is not a good fit, and we need to go back out and see if we can find someone else, and not because, you know, this person doesn't have their heart in it, but it's just, you know, we want PTA to be successful as well.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like sometimes when you read, like the qualifications of the job, sometimes you can, like, start eliminating people right away, but then sometimes you still have people that, like, apply, and you're like, your skill sets and your time and whatever, they don't quite match up, you know, even though they want to do that position, but they just don't quite match. And so that's tricky, though, because they want to do it and maybe no one else wants to do it. But we're also not, the PTA doesn't just put people in just because they want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like most of us got here, not because we wanted to do it. I mean, we all want to do it now, but...
Well, and I think too, some of that is like a confidence thing, like, oh,
Yeah.
you want
Yeah.
me to do that?
Yeah.
Which I feel like is different, you know, when someone just really doesn't have those skill sets.
Yeah.
And I think those are kind of some of those difficult conversations that you have to have as a nominating committee of, can this person do this job?
Yeah.
You know, or can we put supports in place
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
that would help this person to be able to accomplish
Right.
it? You know, can we give them an awesome secretary and an awesome treasurer, and, you know, give them that support system that can kind of help carry the burden if maybe they fall short.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never. Yeah.
So something to think about.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't know if there's necessarily a right answer. I think that is circumstantial.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I
it's
think-
something to think about.
Well, and I think it does help you to realize, like, it is okay to go out looking for another nominee. Like, if your nominee isn't right, or you're worried about them, it's okay to go out and seek out
Yeah.
more people. I think that's.
I think some of the best people have been found because they went out and talked to someone else.
Mhm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that's how it went last year in our elementary. Our president was pretty surprised. She was like, "Yeah, we put the nominating committee together," and she was so excited when elections came, and she's like, "Mike, it's awesome. There are these people in the neighborhood nobody knew about because we had a nominating committee." And then she was so excited. That was like a month ago. She's like, we had like 12 people come. Like, that just doesn't happen. Like, in person, 12 people come to our board meeting, and it's just because there's new people and I think it stems from nominating committee, because they're out there looking and talking to people and talking to teachers, and teachers just should be a resource. You go to your teachers
Definitely.
and say, hey, who's volunteering in your class? Like, teachers will be like, oh, da 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 da. There's 10 people that volunteer in class, and then you talk to them, and yeah, people just don't know about it. Just talk to them.
Because I think you just go to like the obvious. You go to the room mom,
Yeah,
which they're awesome.
yeah,
We love our room moms. They're so great. But sometimes you need that person that comes in and does math help.
yep.
You know.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, my wife, by the way, she's only a PTA member because I pay for her membership every year.
Yeah.
She
that's my husband,
doesn't. She
too.
doesn't want to do anything with the PTA. She
My
wants.
She supports you though.
I know,
so
she
that, I mean,
supports
that's a lot.
She's always like, one day maybe I'll just. Do you need me to cut stuff out? I can sit home and cut stuff.
Hey, and she's home with your kids
yeah,
right now.
she is. All
you
5
know?
of them.
So
Time and a season for things. For
There
sure.
is. Yep.
Yep.
So I just think, yeah, nominating committees are great. You might have one year the person can't do it, but the next year they can, and you just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going at it.
For sure.
time in a season.
Yep.
All right. Is there anything else we
All
need
the
to talk
things.
about?
I don't know. I pulled up a couple things, but let's see if we covered all of it.
Just so that you know, in your bylaws, if you're looking at local bylaws, nominations, so it starts with Article 6, officers and their elections, and then there's, sections that talk about the different officers and positions, and then down on Section 5 is where it actually spells out the nominating committee for you. Just trying to see if there's anything else I wanted to. And there's even a section on vacancies. Like, we've had instances where we had, and this was actually a president in place, and presidents have to be elected. Like, you cannot appoint a president ever. They have to be elected. So, it does cover when you have vacancies. Some of them can be appointed, but president-elect, those have to be.
And also in the
Or have
handbook,
to be elected.
in your president's handbook, there's a section about nominating committees because there is some specific verbiage you have to read when you're doing your nominating committee and then when you're doing your elections. So if you just go to your president's handbook, it gives you everything you need to know. There's like 3 or 4 pages that you can like read through and make sure you're covering all the things, and tells you kind of how to put it in your minutes and everything. So yeah.
Was there anything else you wanted to add?
If you have any questions, though, you're at the local level, contact council, the region, region the state. There are weird things that happen. Maybe I've had a president-elect that moved, so we were like, oh crud, well, what do? We don't have and we already had nominating committee and everything, and so I know that we were like, I don't know what to do. So region had to come and help us figure stuff out like that. So if you ever have something that comes up weird, just contact your uppers.
Yeah.
Even at the state level, haven't we had to put a nominating committee together?
I feel like
we did.
I feel like we talked about that recently.
I don't remember where it was. Anyway, but sometimes
Things happen.
Yeah.
Things happen.
Yep. I mean, I remember having a president that had like we elected her, and a month later she had to resign because she had personal things that happened in her life that she said, unforeseen. I have to step away.
And like family first.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, if you're on the receiving end of a phone call, don't feel pressured into it. You can actually think about it and discuss with your family and see if that's the right fit for you, because we care about families and we care about kids. But if this is going to put like a strain on your marriage or something, like, please don't do that.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. And nominating committees, when you call, that's one thing I tried to do when I would talk to people. This is it, and don't feel pressure. We think you would be a great fit.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. Try and word it that in a way that you're not. If you don't do it, we're screwed.
You might feel like that, but don't say that.
I mean, that's how when they did nominations for this position for me, and they called me, and that it was a very nice, good phone call that I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, I didn't feel pressured at all. So. Anyway.
Well, I think you're going to enjoy the position more if you don't feel forced into it.
Yeah.
And you want people that like their position. You don't want resentful.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I think, I guess, like, kind of sum up all the things we talked about is that this can be, like, very meaningful.
Yeah.
When it's done the right way and not done because, like, we have to check it off the box, it can be meaningful in all the different ways.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's a great way to strengthen PTAs, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, I love it.
Get the right people in the right places. So. Awesome.
All right. That's all, folks.
Anything
Get
else?
your nominating committee together.
Yep, December 31st.
Yep.
Is that deadline? So
We try to do it sooner, but December 31st is the deadline. All bylaws say that.
Yep.
that is non-negotiable.
Yep.
Unlike other things that we just
Few
said.
things you can change.
Yeah.
Those that you cannot. All right. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to the Utah PTA Pulse podcast. Yep, little palpitation there.
You need to see your cardiologist.
Yes.
I mean, we're getting
I
old,
do.
so, you know.
I am your host, Mike. No, I'm not. Co-host. These girls are the hosts. Co-host Mike Williams, Communication Director for Utah PTA. To my right, your left.
I'm Angeli Ado, the Family Life Commissioner.
And I'm Cami Whitchurch, Community Engagement Commissioner.
And today is a podcast after Thanksgiving to be thankful.
Because
It sounds pretty depressing.
we always need to be thankful.
The Gratitude Podcast.
Gratitude.
The
it's hard.
Gratitude Podcast.
But before we go on to that, if you're the co-host, like, isn't the co-host like the same? Are they
We're all the same level.
We're all the same level.
No.
Yes.
I think so.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
We definitely are. And we need Mike. He has all the stuff.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they have me on here.
And he's really fun, and we like him a lot. Like,
I like your comments.
yeah.
Oh,
You're fun to
good.
have on
And
here.
I mean, I hope, but I feel like we have a good vibe. We
Yeah.
jive really well together.
Yep.
I hope you guys
Agreed.
think so too. But
Even if you don't think so, I think we do.
Yep.
we're just gonna roll with it. But I think we're all on the same level.
I just want to say
Join
that
our level, Mike.
Well, I know we're going to have a question, but the thankful part is when I was put on the board and Corey was like, okay, you need to talk to those two for the podcast. And I got to see you guys at convention and I was like, oh, good. I can work with these ladies. They're crazy.
Yeah, basically.
This is good. Yeah.
Then I hear about these pickles dropping in the parking lot. And I'm like, yep, these are the ladies I want to do a
We need
podcast
pickle
with.
shirts too.
We need pickle shirts. We do.
Yeah, we might have to make pickle shirts. Give one to Joanne too.
Such good memories.
Yeah.
Such good memories. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Love it.
Question.
Okay. Which Mario Kart carrier are you?
Oh.
Character.
all right.
carrier.
I already know.
I just can't read or translate what I read. Yeah. that's fine.
Mario Kart character?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or carrier.
Always.
Which car do you want to
Always
be?
the same one.
Who are you? Always the same one.
Bowser.
You're Bowser? He's the worst.
I like him because he has some weight behind him. He's a little slow going.
He's always slow
He
going.
takes a little time to get going, but then I'm like the beefy one on the track. I always pick Bowser. I don't know.
Which one's Bowser?
The mean guy with the shell.
Okay, that's what
The
I
bad
thought.
guy with
Just
the-
making, just checking.
The bad dude. But yeah, my family, like, everyone has their characters.
Yep.
Like, when we play,
Mhm.
it's like you don't steal somebody
Nope.
else's character.
Oh. I think I'm the person that steals other people's characters.
Do you change it every time?
It's like, whatever.
Oh, and I always use the regular cart. Like, no special carts.
What version
I'm
are you
not
doing,
very
by the way? Which version? Because
The,
there's tons of versions.
the Wii one.
The Wii one, okay.
Sorry, we don't have, like, other things. Well, we do, but we always play the Wii one as a family. I don't play very often. I always lose.
I haven't played in years. But
Usually what I do, because there's 5 in my fammy, is I'll play for a little while and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. Somebody else play just because I'm not.
I love watching my kids play. It's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was at a school the other day and they were like wrapping up their school fundraiser and all their rewards were like Mario Kart themed and I thought that was so cute.
Oh, that's fun.
Like-
That's a really fun idea.
Their like reward that they were gonna get soon was that they could come down in classes and they were gonna have this like track set up for them, like a Mario Kart track that they could play on. And I was like, with their scooter, you know, those
Oh,
like
that's
scooter
cool,
things.
yeah.
And I was like, that sounds really fun. When can I come?
That does sound
I want
fun.
to play.
No, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was like that's like out of the box thinking, you know. Loved it.
Yeah.
What's your character?
I either take Toad or the turtle.
I do like the turtle.
And yeah, and the version I play, if anyone's caring, I don't play anything fancy. We still play Super Nintendo at my house, and my kids love it. Super Nintendo, all the way.
Oh man.
Yep.
I just like Mario.
Yep, Mario's good. He's
Yeah,
the
classic.
all around.
He's just like there and I love it.
He has good control, speed, everything.
Yeah.
Bowser is the fastest. Once you can get him
You
going.
have to get him going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's got all that weight behind
Yeah.
him.
He flies.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when I always hit a wall and I'm like,
Oh, I don't do well. Oh, and I hate Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road's the worst.
It's like a nightmare.
Yep.
There's like a Disney racing game on the Switch, and my kids like that one too. And we're like playing, and I'm like so bad at it. I'm like a legit real driver, like, and I can't do the game. Like,
You know, the best Mario Kart, which I want to get one day, is the actual. It's little character cars you put in your house.
oh yeah, I've seen that.
And you play it on the TV, and it's driving through, and it has cameras, and you're driving through your kitchen. You can set up its own
Seriously?
course.
Yeah, I saw
It
that.
is
It looks
so
so fun.
awesome.
Wow, I have not seen that. I
Yeah.
don't get out much.
I saw it one time. I was like, oh, we totally need to get that and drive little cars around your house.
What
And
about
it's on the-
stairs?
Yeah, I don't know how all that. I'm sure there's.
Turns into a 4-wheeler. Down the stairs we go.
Make a
You
ramp.
have to ramp it. Yep. Yep. You need a ramp. There you go. There you go.
We bought a Switch last year for Christmas, and you could like subscribe to like all the old Nintendo games
Yep.
for like $5 a month or something. So we did that,
Yep.
and my kids never play them. And I'm like, don't you want to get on and play this game? They're like, no. Like, we played this old soccer one that I used to play when I was a kid, and they're like, this is weird. This is a weird game, Mom. I'm like,
We paid for the same. So we got one for Mother's Day this year, and we got it because Mother's Day, the kids can't say, well, it's my Wii. No, it's Mom's Wii. It's hers, or the Switch, not the Wii. And yeah, we paid for those old games, and my kids surprisingly like a lot of the old games. To them, it's a little easier than some of these new games. They're like, how do I do this? I'm like, this is so great. Just old games. You go this direction,
like, there's
you
only like
jump.
one way.
and you come down.
Yes.
These other games, my little boy is that kid who is killing me in games. I'm like, wait, how's he doing this?
I just can't like.
I have no idea.
I can't press the buttons fast enough, like, because I don't play it enough, so I'm like, I don't know, like, what buttons I'm supposed to press and where they are, and so it's like,
And there's too many buttons now.
you know.
Dad, it's the left, right, something button. I'm like, where is that one? I don't know.
You know.
Like, I'm used to A, B.
Yeah, A, B, and then up, down, over.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
Give me those.
okay, I do play our virtual reality thing.
Ooh, cool.
Oh, I like VR.
And that's really fun. I play Fruit Ninja all the time.
Nice.
It's like really fun. It's like a workout if you get
Yeah.
into it. Like, I set my kickboxing because it's like that.
Cool.
The, what is it? With the saber. what is
Yeah.
it?
Oh, Beat
The
Saber.
Beat Saber, thank
There you
you.
go.
They just put new songs on.
Yeah, my family really like. My son is amazing at those. Like he just, I don't care.
I like Beat Saber a lot. I'm pretty good at that game too.
Yeah, my husband's like, I don't understand how he gets such high scores on like what is it, the highest one, what's it called?
Expert.
Expert, yeah.
Expert.
Like, he gets really high scores on expert. He's just,
Well, when I first started playing Beat Saber, I didn't realize that like if you hit them a certain way, you get more points instead of like you're not just trying to hit them.
Yeah.
You have to hit them the right way too, and the right direction, and you know, it's really fun. I like it.
yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
we are derailed very far.
Yes, yes. Half of our gratitude
We-
episode went into. We were almost to Atari, guys.
Yes, we were.
So tell us in the comments what you play with.
I do want to play an Atari again, I will say.
Yeah, Atari's fun.
You have to pull the black thing off so you have the white controller.
What? What are you talking about?
We're way before your time, Angeli.
I'm going to find an Atari, Angeli. We're going to play
I feel like the oldest thing I remember is just the basic Nintendo.
Just the regular Nintendo.
Yeah, that's the oldest thing I remember.
Commodore 64, if anybody knows that one. Yeah, that was a good gaming one.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about gratitude today because it's very important.
Yeah.
And it's,
And what it can do
tis
for
the
your
season
PTA.
of gratitude.
Yeah. I kind of struggle in November because, like, everybody starts their, like, grateful posts, you know? And I'm like, but why didn't you post that, like, all year? You know? I don't know.
I know. I don't.
I'm like, is it, like, fake? Like, you feel like now you have to confess all the things you're thankful for? I don't know.
I kind of resist things where it's like a trend.
Oh.
You know, like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to be a part of the trend. I want to do my own thing. And like popular books come out, and I'm like, oh, I can't read it now.
You got to read a couple of years later. Then it's like not popular anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know why that is. It's ridiculous. Like, if you want to read the book, just read the book.
I'm not doing that.
Everybody else is doing it. How dare.
I don't know why. It's so silly.
I kind of feel that same way too. Can't do that.
Everyone's doing it.
Well, I feel like in PTA, gratitude is really important because we are all humans and we volunteer. And though we say we don't need thanks and appreciation for it, but it is really nice to get that appreciation when it comes.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really important to show gratitude for your volunteers because they do a lot, you know, and we all survive a little bit better with words of affirmation.
Yeah. Well, and kind of coming up with different ways to show your appreciation, I think, too, because, I mean, like the love language book, like people receive not just love, but gratitude.
Yeah, totally.
Like in different ways.
Totally.
And so, you know, for some people, telling them you appreciate them is enough, but for some, there's kind of different ways that you can show your appreciation. So, yeah.
What are some of those ways?
I mean,
let's brainstorm.
Yeah. I was thinking, you know, writing a note or, you know, like it doesn't have to be a gift, but, you know, writing a note to someone with a little piece of candy or a little something just to say, hey, thank you. I saw the work that you put into, and, you know, calling out specific things that they've done, not just, you know, thank you for doing this, but, you know, I noticed that at the carnival you did da-da-da-da-da. Thank you so much. That meant a lot to that child or whatever. And really being specific about the gratitude that we show to people. So it's not just they just said thank you because they said thank you to every volunteer. Mm-hmm. But really noticing what people are doing.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've talked about our resources on the website on our other podcast, and make sure you use a resource of maybe the Pinterest page, and there's a lot of thankful things, like these are ideas to do, and I just want to say that I'm not good at doing that, so poor people in my council or they just don't get anything from me, but I'm always telling them I'm grateful for them. But my region director, when I was first local president, she was so good as a region director giving local presidents like little, and there were just little cute things like a notepad and a little cute pencil and a little thank you note, and I was like, just these little $2 trinkets that made me feel special. Mm-hmm. So I mean, just the effort of doing it. But the other day I was working at the school and I saw my son's teacher. And I'm like, hey! She stops. I'm like, I just want to thank you for letting him listen to The Greatest Showman soundtrack. She plays a song from The Greatest Showman, and my little boy has memorized it, and he'll come home and he sings it. I'm like, that is so cool. Where'd you learn? And he's like, oh, Miss Milne plays it every day when we're transitioning from classes. And so I'm like, that's cool. So, yeah. Just a verbal thank you, and she was so appreciative. Oh, that melts my heart. I'm so grateful that you told me that. I just told her, you know, something, and she felt so grateful for.
I love that.
For that.
I love that.
So you don't have to do the little trinkets, but they are cool, and they make some people feel special. But I think just as long as you're talking to people and telling them that you're grateful for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I do, and I love a card, like a handwritten card, because we don't
do those
anymore.
Yeah.
No, that's so true.
I'm like, I feel like people are gonna like stop learning how to write because it's like obsolete.
This is true. Like my kids don't know how. I mean, I think they know how to write their names in cursive, but I don't think my younger two know really how to write in cursive. If they had to sit down and write a paper in cursive, I think they'd fail.
Yeah.
Well, my daughter, she started 6th grade this year, and they have like a cursive workbook that they do. They did it in 4th grade, and then in 5th grade, like I homeschooled her, and so like cursive was at the bottom of the list, like, you know, for me, important things that we had to finish. And so at the beginning of 6th grade, she was like, my hand hurts so bad. Like, yeah, because like a lot of I don't know, they just do a lot of work online and different things, but
Yep.
That's awesome.
I think it's also really important to like be grateful all throughout the year.
Yes.
You know, like don't just wait till like your volunteer appreciation luncheon or
That's right.
whatever. Like
Yeah.
all throughout the year is great, you know.
Yeah, I remember one year, and I think it was coming back from COVID, and morale for our teachers was really, really low. And that was one of the concerns that the principal brought to us. And so we decided, I mean, we still had planned kind of a teacher appreciation week, but at the beginning of each month, we had a little appreciation thing for the teachers, just, you know, because we knew, maybe once a month will be enough to kind of perk them up and help them feel like they were appreciated. And they weren't big by any means, like they were kind of more of your dollar store trinkety kind of thank yous. But I think just having them know that they were being thought of once a month was helpful. And I wonder if, that same thing could be applied to your volunteers that are showing up activity after activity and doing things and just letting them know, hey, like, we appreciate you.
I'm sure most people listening know. So, like, there's, teachers, your volunteers, but staff or even administration, thanking them. And of course, the secretary. The secretary's
Yes.
always amazing. They know my kids. I don't know how they know. And my daughter's at a new school, and we're like, oh, I wonder how long it'll. Nope, they know. Like, we'll walk in, oh, Aurora, you're Aurora's dad. I'm like, how do you know that already? I've come here like 3 times. How do you know me? So just thanking them for all their work and their attentiveness to the students. And so, yeah, anyway, so
I love that.
the people that identify, I don't know if the administration gets a lot of thankfuls.
I doubt they don't.
You're right.
That's so true.
They probably get the opposite.
They get the opposite.
A lot
That's
of
exactly
not.
right.
I want to give a plug in for like our spouse or our partners because
Oh, that's a good one.
I feel like my husband, he does so much for me, especially like when I'm doing my PTA job, and sometimes I'm like, oh, it's just expected of him because he's my spouse. Like
I think that's so good. That's so
and
true.
I think
the number of sacrifices that they make.
they
for
make a
us.
lot of sacrifices too. So I think it's important to give them that thank you too.
Or our children sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes my
Oh.
kids are like, PTA.
Yep, that's what I did today. I was
especially
walking
like
out the door.
when the older kids get old enough, like you're like, hey, help me with this project. Hey, can you grab my binder for me? Like, can you do this? Like.
Yes, so true. Or like, those late night projects where the whole fam's like in that dread.
Like, I gotta finish this right now.
All hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. That's a good one. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
And be sure to be, I know this sounds weird, but when people, are thanking you yourselves to appreciate that gesture, because you don't want to be like, oh, okay, yeah, I know, whatever. Be thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that you've noticed that I'm busting my
That's hard
butt.
to
But
do.
it is hard.
Yeah, I think
it's
it
hard.
is really hard to accept like people, thanking you. I know I've tried to tell my kids that, like, just say thank you. You don't need to say thanks, but just thank
Say
you.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, don't need to explain it. Just be grateful. They're telling you for a reason.
I know.
Just let
Yeah.
them-
Right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
When I was taking French in college, one of my professors said that in France, when they get a compliment, like they just say thank you and that's it. Like she was like, I was surprised when I came to America and like they're like, well, thanks, but like blah 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 blah, blah. I'm horrible. Blah, blah,
I should have
blah,
done this and this and this
Yeah.
too. And they're like, no, it's fine.
Yep.
Just to like accept the compliment. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really bad at that.
It's hard.
Yeah, I've had to be very conscious of
Yeah.
just thank you. And it is hard. It's still hard. Even, even trying to practice it for a while, it's really hard to do.
And I feel like it's like you want to give something else to the conversation. It's
Yep.
like if I say thank you, but then I don't say anything else, it's like, is the conversation over? Like,
Should I thank them for
thank you,
something?
bye.
Thanks, I'm out.
Yeah, you're right too. Like, do I have to thank them? Is it this like constant, like this like carousel of thank you for this, thank you for this, thank you for this, like those boyfriend and girlfriend phone calls, you know? You get off the phone. You get off the phone.
Oh dear. Well, and that just total segue, but that made me think of a situation where I think gratitude can kind of help. So I was working with the school, and the secretary, like every time the PTA people came in, like you could just tell she just like rolled her eyes. She was so like frustrated with the PTA people, and I don't know if it was just because she felt like every time they came in it was more work. But I started like trying to just say thank you to her, and I even brought in some little just like things, you know, every once in a while. I think I even asked her what her favorite chocolate was once and brought that in, just, you know, to just kind of help her to see like PTA is not trying to make it more work for you. Like, we really do appreciate what you do. And I did notice by the end of the year, she was still kind of a little prickly, but maybe a little less prickly.
We'll take it.
And so I think sometimes we can use that gratitude maybe to help soften a relationship that maybe is a little hard in PTA, and not necessarily with your, you know, secretaries, but maybe, you know, there's someone in the PTA that you are not jiving with, because I think that happens, sadly.
That never happens.
More than we want to admit. And I think, you know, and it does have to be sincere. You can't just like, it has to be sincere, I think, to be effective. But I think that's maybe a good way to help diffuse some strain in your PTA a little bit.
Yeah. So, and I think too, when you're like trying to look out for things to be grateful for, that kind of changes your outlook basically on life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we're looking for that and trying to express gratitude more, and trying to do it seriously, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I love it.
For sure. Yeah.
What are some of the things you guys are grateful for? PTA wise or in general?
I'll say PTA state board wise is the patience Corey and Julie have for me.
I think Corey
or for all of us.
I'm sure they're just like, oh, can these people just get it together?
I'm just like, oh, I'm failing so bad. I'm trying so hard, and I was like, what can we do? I'm like, I don't know. Thank you so much for entrusting me with whatever the heck I'm doing. So I'm grateful for those two. Really, like, they give me chances, even if I'm like, they're like, Mike, did you do this? No. Can you do this? Yes. Yes. They're always understanding, and so PTA, Utah PTA board wise, Corey and Julie are just hands down amazing.
Yeah.
They really are.
I agree. The things that they do are, like, I just look at the work. They have been really, really busy lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they're always busy, but I think the last little bit, it's just been very aware of just how many balls they have in the air that they're just juggling, and the things that they do. And I think that kind of reminds me too of, like, we need to realize that everyone is a volunteer, and there has to be kind of that grace given, realizing that, you know, we're going to fall short on projects. We're going to, you know, maybe not finish what we said we're going to, and not that you shouldn't try, but I think we always need to realize that, you know, we're volunteers, and sometimes things, you know,
things happen. Yeah, exactly. And I think too, it's also realizing that we all have like a lot of balls in the air. Like, mine are different than yours, but we're all busy, and just to be like respectful of that too. Yeah. For sure. So on Sunday, at church with my little 3-year-olds, my husband and I, we were teaching a lesson, and there was a part about like gratitude, and so I brought a little tree, and we put some leaves on it, you know, gratitude tree, and it's hilarious asking 3-year-olds what they're thankful for. They're so funny, and you know, I'm expecting like their family or their brother or sister or Jesus or, you know, or whatever, like, but But it was like, I'm thankful for the chair in this room. And I'm thankful for this, like, random thing. Like, it's like such strange things. But I was like, yeah, like, sometimes when we're asked, like, what we're grateful for, we think that it has to be these, like, grandiose things.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm thankful for my country and my family and my God and whatever. And yeah, we should be thankful for those things. It's not that we're not thankful for those things, but I think we also need to like see the other things around us, you know, like, yeah, I am actually like really thankful for that like warm blanket I have, you know, or that like that podcast I listen to, or the cinnamon rolls my daughter makes, you know, or whatever. Like sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to be grateful for those things too.
Yep.
You know, because those are like our everyday life things, and we need to be grateful for those things too.
Yeah, my little boy one time said, I'm thankful for our neighborhood and that I can walk in it and I'm safe. And I was like, where do you...
That's amazing.
Like, what? Where did you come up with that? Like, well, that is a good thing to be thankful for, is a nice neighborhood.
Well, and him feeling safe.
I know.
In his neighborhood.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's just...
Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe that's like wandering about. But.
Well, when you say with the kids being thankful for a chair, I'm like, there are, like, just little things we should be thankful for that we don't think of.
Yeah.
That just reminds me of my little niece. She'll be 2 next week. Anyway, and just the things that she gets really excited about. Like, you'll show her a book and she just, like, lights up and gets so excited about, you know, and I think sometimes maybe we need to be willing to get excited about the little things too. Just like, oh, it's a book with Elsa on it. And she's like,
yeah.
It's Elsa. Like, yes, it is. It's a 3-page board book with Elsa on it. just the things that, you know, like, we should be able to get excited about little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of like what I was like really thankful for lately.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I think Mike's the only one that really answered that one.
I know.
Yeah, but then I threw out big names, and then Angelique's like, well, don't shout out the big names. Like, oh.
No.
But I think it's definitely like in the forefront, like you realize that they're...
I mean, I've actually been really grateful for Corey and Julie lately too.
Seriously,
So they're like texting me and they're like, are you surviving? Are you fine? Are you okay?
Well, and I think that just goes to show, like, even though, you know, I don't know, maybe some people kind of look at them as like, oh, they're state PTA. You know,
they
like,
are.
They're still concerned.
Yep.
About, you know, and I think that concern, yes, it comes to people on the state board, but I think that extends down to regions and councils and locals, and they really are concerned, and they want you to be successful, and they want you to know that, like, they do care.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Yeah.
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 I've also actually been like really grateful for my car seat warmers.
Oh, yes. It's so true.
It's like the best thing ever.
Our truck has a steering wheel warmer.
Oh,
wow.
I wish I had one of those.
Jeez.
My mom's car had one. Every time I drove it, I was like, oh, I wish I had this.
But I don't drive the truck very often because it's a little bit of a gas guzzler. So, yeah.
Yep.
But I do love when I drive the truck and can, like, warm my... I don't know. It's... Yeah.
It's getting cold.
It is. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Although maybe we should be grateful for the cold.
And by the time this comes out, it's probably going to be even colder.
We should be
It's
grateful
snowing.
for the cold because it kills off the big bugs.
It's true. The bugs do go away. I appreciate that a lot. I was just...
Either that or they just come inside.
I don't know. The other day when my dogs, like, sometimes we leave the door open for them, and because it's been nice out, you know, it's nice to have the breeze. And I'm like, why are there still flies?
Yeah, why are there still
Yes.
flies?
We're still
Why?
getting a ton of them.
We still have flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so annoying.
It's 34 degrees outside, and there's flies.
Yeah.
Go
Like,
away.
what the heck?
I think I killed 2 or 3 today.
I'm not thankful for flies. Sorry. I can't see anything good about them.
What are we not thankful for?
Mosquitoes, snakes.
Hey, I have a cute snake.
I know
I did
snakes are
not think
sometimes
snakes were
good,
cute till we
but
got this snake. Go look up hognose snakes. They're actually really cute, and they're kind of derpy.
I can't imagine that.
Just look
I can't imagine it.
They have like this upturned nose.
Nope.
Oh, you know what? I'm thankful for Harry Potter.
I've been watching Harry Potter lately, like, you know, rewatching the season. Like, yeah, it was like Halloween. I'm like,
Harry Potter
season. Yep.
It
the
is
other
Harry
day,
Potter
my kids
season.
were like, "When are we starting Harry Potter again?" Yes. Yes. When are we starting
Harry
it?
Potter. I like that.
If anyone knows listening, Terry Francis, she used to be region director in our region, and on her Facebook, I was looking through her photos, and she had these candles that were on the ceiling coming down like in Harry Potter. So I showed my wife, and she's like, all right, they're coming. And now we have them in our kitchen and in our entryway, and the kids love it. I don't know. So I'm thankful for Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's just a fun, magical, fun thing that the kids love. We all love.
I mean, Harry Potter like inspired my love of reading when I was little.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of kids
Yeah.
that was kind of the.
I mean,
Yeah.
the
It was.
the fourth book came out when I was in like 7th grade or 8th grade. And so I'd read the other books, you know, before that, and that was like kind of when like the first movie came out. And I'm like, so there's like a good bunch of us that like we grew up with Harry Potter, you know, like the Harry Potter nerds for sure. We grew up with it, like when the books were being written and the movies and just all the things like.
Speaking of Harry, I don't know, this might be an off-the-wall story. Speaking of gratitude. So it was when the 5th Harry Potter book came out, and we went to one of those like midnight releasings where you could buy the book at midnight. And they had a costume contest, and my little sister like dressed all up. She had this kind of wizard costume, and this one guy like had the most, it really was not a very like thought out costume, other than the fact that he really did have greasy hair and kind of looked like Snape, and then he just had like this black robe on, and he ended up winning the costume contest. And I feel so bad about this. Okay, this is like a tattling on me, and we were kind of off to the side, like that wasn't even a very good costume. And for winning the costume contest, like he won a book for free, and all of a sudden he like comes up from behind us and gives it to my little sister, and he's like, I thought that you should have won, and he gave her the book.
Oh wow.
And like talk about feeling really bad.
Really bad.
Yes.
Really quickly.
Like, ouch. I feel like I am the scum of the earth. I will never do that again. So yeah. So that was a humbling moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need those humbling moments.
We do.
When you're like, wow, yeah, thank you. That was you are the better person. Than we
You
are.
are better than I.
Yep. Lesson learned. Okay. Yep. Don't judge. Not you guys. You guys are great.
And when you see the video, which I'm working on getting the videos onto YouTube, behind us, these ladies here, we can thank our ancestors in the PTA for putting us where we're at now. So.
Don't strain your neck.
I know. I was trying to see it. We did have a couple male past PTA.
Oh, they're
presidents,
upstairs.
But they're upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some cool non-smile smiles.
Yeah.
We need to show those off.
Yep.
Maybe that's what we do for a podcast. We do a walking podcast through the halls of the PTA.
We might need to do a few things first.
Yeah.
We do a prep before that.
The commissioner's room needs help.
Oh, it does. It's fine.
If we have any organizers out there that feel like they know how to reorganize the commissioner room.
Or just really good at throwing things in the trash.
Yeah, that's probably a lot of it. Getting rid of the old.
I made Mike take a very heavy bag to the trash the other day, so.
Yep. It was very heavy.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't even like half of what I wanted to throw away.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I'm grateful for the garbage man.
Oh, me
Yes.
too. Me
Yes.
too. I love that I still have a kid that's like so excited about the garbage man coming. Like,
It's fun.
it's like the best thing ever. Like, they don't know that they're like worshipped by
Yeah.
little kids.
Yep.
You leave a little note. By the way, my kid thinks you're great.
I know.
Like, oh.
You're doing amazing.
They probably don't get a lot of thank you notes. Maybe we should
You're
put
right.
out.
All
There we
right,
go.
we're all writing
That's
thank
a
you notes
challenge.
to our garbage people because they are
Gratitude.
amazing. Where would you put
Especially
it?
in the winter. That would probably not be a fun job.
Where would you put it? Where would they see it at?
I make a lawn yard sign. Thank you, garbage man from Ace.
And like put on.
Put it on the trash can so he sees it.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Just like a fluorescent piece of paper. I don't know how you'd attach it.
All right, now we're all gonna watch our garbage men and see like what they look at exactly, so we can figure out how to thank them.
Yeah. How would you? Because it could be kind of nice, especially in the winter, to get them like.
Oh, you know what? I love the people who put out little gift bowls for the Amazon drivers.
Oh yeah,
That is awesome. And every year my wife and I are, we should do that. We never do that.
same.
But we should do that. Or even
Or
our
your mail.
UPS driver, our mail carrier. And-
Although, have you noticed the mail? Sorry, total segue.
That's all right.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
But our mail person has started driving a van. They aren't in the little mail trucks anymore.
Yeah, we're starting to get some updated
Which
vehicles.
is good because those mail trucks don't have
They don't have
AC,
heaters.
heaters. Yeah.
They're brutal.
And I feel like they're just gonna fall out. Like one wrong turn,
I know. Whoop.
they're out the car.
Yeah.
It's weird. We're on a walking route, so our mailboxes are on our houses, and so it's fun because our carriers come right up to the door, and it's. I've never experienced that. Everywhere else I've lived, it's they drive and put it in the mailbox, but
Our neighborhood is really weird because some houses have mailboxes in front of their house, and then some have like a box, with like a whole bunch of mailboxes.
oh
have to
yeah,
walk, too.
yep,
It's weird.
that is weird.
Like, I don't know. This was like phase A of the
Yep,
neighborhood.
that's
This
right.
was phase B or something.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, it's really weird. I'm like, what happened here? I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. Growing up, our mailbox was on our house, but since we've moved here, it's out.
Yeah, I think that was really
Down the street.
common, like with older homes.
Yeah.
Everybody was just like more friendly then.
Well, like my sister-in-law, I think she invited their mailman to her wedding.
wow.
Yeah. Well, and it was
Dang.
funny because my husband and I lived there for a little while, and then we moved into a duplex at his parents' house while they were out of the country. And then we moved a couple blocks west into a duplex. And he knocked on our door and he's like, hello, what churches? And he was our mailman still. Like, it was the cutest thing ever. We're like, what? Anyway, just really funny mailman story for you. But yeah, he was an awesome mailman. He knew our family, obviously.
Okay, so I guess what we're trying to say is we need to show gratitude to like those people that do things in our lives that we don't think about.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know?
Yep.
That's what we do.
Yeah. Because I don't know, a lot of jobs are thankless jobs, and we're all just trying to do our best. And
How about those grocery store checkers?
Oh, you know what I do? I always make sure to say thank you, especially to people who are wearing name tags, and I love it because my kids are like, "How did you know that guy?"
By name, like you
Right?
said. Yeah,
So I'll
that's
be
what my
like,
husband
"Oh,
does.
thank you, Susan," and walk away, and my kids are like, "How do you know Susan?" I'm like, "I don't. I just think
like she has a name
she has
tag
a
on.
name tag." And
Do
so
you do
my
the same thing on the phone? Like if someone calls you and tells you their name? That's
Yeah.
my husband remembers their name by the end of the
Always.
conversation. I'm like, that's
Dude, I cannot remember names.
yeah, it's
Even
so
like
nice.
in person, I'm like, can you tell it to me again?
What was your name again? And you know what?
I'm so sorry, but
I forgot your name. I am terrible with names too.
yeah, I used to be so good, and now my brain, I don't know. It's like everything that is told to me is like filed in unimportant information. Everything. Like, it doesn't matter what is told to me, that's just where it goes.
I know. I used to be able to remember phone numbers. Now I don't even know my kids' phone numbers
Me either.
because it's in my phone. It's terrible.
I'm like, if I don't have my phone, I don't know what their phone numbers are.
Yeah.
wow.
I should write
Well,
it
I
down.
do. Well,
I do
No, I
not.
don't. Not the two. I only know my oldest.
I know my husband and my mother-in-law and my mom.
I know my emergency contacts from when I was a kid. Like my aunt's phone number, which is now disconnected, but I still have it memorized. my best friend's number growing up. I still haven't memorized. I don't
Yeah, I
think they
have all
that
my friends'
anymore.
phone number. We actually went to lunch with my friends from like elementary school on up. And we were talking about that. We all had each other's home, old phone numbers memorized. It was really fun. Of course, that was back before you had to do the 801 before.
I know. I met the guy who was responsible for doing 801, and back a long time ago, he knew that it would have to happen, and he's like, yeah, when I was introducing it and talking about it, people were really upset. Which, yeah, I get it, because man, 3 more numbers. So nice to just done. Yep. Anyway, he said it was pretty difficult transition.
Yeah, I remember when we moved from Idaho to Utah when I was in 5th grade, and they were just like doing like 435 numbers, and that was like a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, I remember lots of adults talking about it. I love little kids when they're learning phone numbers, because my kids will come home with like half a phone number, and they're like, this is their phone number.
Like, oh.
And I'm like, wait, what does it have in the beginning? But then I'm like, what did you tell them our phone number was?
Really?
Like, it's the best. I love it. I love little kids. They're so cute.
Well, and even showing gratitude to kids. Like,
Yeah.
think
I definitely
that's-
don't show my kids enough gratitude.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's true. Crap.
They do a lot. I mean, we get frustrated with them. We're trying to teach them how to be like
Mhm.
better adults than us, and it's hard. But I don't think we give them enough credit
Mhm.
for the things that they do.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I try to say thank you to my kids, like, thank you for unloading the dishwasher, they seem more willing
To do it.
to do it later.
Mhm. Yeah. No.
I don't know. We got some things to work on.
Yeah, we do.
Find someone
Crud.
to say thank you to.
We're all going home.
Someone's.
Thank you, guys.
The goal is to just do better. Don't berate yourself for what you're
Yeah.
not doing. Just to do better.
Yep.
For sure.
Try something different. Do better.
Yeah.
Show your gratitude all year, but especially in this holiday season. Make sure you're grateful for all the things.
For sure.
I love it.
I love it too. Well, and I think just the difference it can make.
Yeah.
Like that, like you were saying, when you're thinking about the things you're grateful for, I think it changes your perspective. So
Yeah.
it's a good one.
I love it.
Anything else?
THANKYOU.
I was like, what are you spelling?
I know we are grateful for the people that watch our podcast.
The ones in Norway, too.
Oh, yeah. Now, but what we really need you to do, we're so grateful for you, but like share it with your friend.
Yeah.
And like their friend and their friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Share it with all your friends. And just like follow us on all the things too.
Yeah.
Like that helps.
Yeah.
Go on Spotify, go on Apple Music, go on Amazon Music, wherever else podcasts are found.
Samsung. We're on Samsung somehow. I don't know how we got on that.
There's like 10 different places, but I don't know what they
Wow.
are. I just know of like those 3.
Yeah. There's YouTube,
How do we know?
podcasts. We're on that.
Or how can they know which ones we're on, other than to just look it up?
I
It's
need
like
it.
on all of them. Whatever.
Of course, if they're watching, they obviously found us somehow.
It's true.
Yep, there's several. And you know what's nice now is you can type in Utah PTA podcast, and now it's in the search results
Oh, good.
on Google, so you don't have to.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kinda
Moving
nice.
on up in this
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, because when it was first released, I was like, Utah PTA podcast. Nothing. I'm like, dang it. But now,
Okay, try it.
comes up.
Okay. Cammy's trying it right
Okay,
now.
see what it says.
'cause I haven't.
Google. What
We did not bring our laptops or anything today.
no,
We're like, we don't need those. We
Oops.
kind of did need them, but it's fine.
I am thankful for my laptop.
Me too.
Uh-huh.
What did you find?
Utah PTA Pulse podcast, business podcast. What does that one look?
I think that's like the summary.
And then it goes to the utahpta.org, YouTube, getting to know your Utah PTA host, that's videos, Facebook. Oh, wait.
Oh, that's
Does Region 9 have a podcast too?
No, but they're posting about our podcast.
Oh, nice
okay.
job, Region
Family
9.
Life, Utah PTA University,
Oh, don't watch those ones.
Amazon. We're on Amazon?
Yeah, we're on Amazon Podcasts.
We're on Amazon. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, there's
Oh,
a lot.
there was one from LinkedIn when
did I
Mason
miss it?
from The Power of Kind
Oh, yes.
Oh, wow.
tagged us.
UtahPTA.org. Yeah. Player FM.
Wow.
I don't know if that's one.
That one doesn't count.
Yeah. Oh, and then Jordan's Supercast, but that's
Not
different.
us.
Yeah.
If you're still listening to this podcast, I'm thankful for you.
You guys,
you have made it to the end
we
of
got
this
dragged down
video.
a rabbit hole. Sorry.
If you've made it this far, I need you to comment or contact me at michael@utahpta.org, and maybe we'll feature you on one of our episodes for being a
if you
diehard.
comment, we would love to feature you on our podcast.
Need to get him some swag.
You could get a cup. You could get a Utah PTA Pulse podcast cup.
Yeah.
But we truly are thankful for our listeners and getting the good word of the PTA out there. That sounds like a Bible commercial.
I think it's getting late.
All right, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Let's wrap this up.
You guys, we really do appreciate you.
Happy holidays. We love y'all. Bye.